Alrighty, I'm back again, and this time what I'm doing is a recording based on a civil suit that was filed pertaining to the surplus funds from the sale of my property that was stolen. Okay, they stole my house, they sold it, and then they had some more money that has to go to the owner of the property. Okay, so I they can't give me the money. They've been trying to give me the money since 2018. It's a considerable amount of money, and a lot of people would be like, wow, just take the money, just take the money. It was dirty money. I never betrayed my parents or my family or myself and anyone else by taking the dirty money, no matter how much it is. Okay, so in responding to the court, I'm asking the court for help. I'm telling them that I have the proof that these people committed these crimes, and I need the court and the court judge to help in order to expose that. Just look at the proof and it's over. Okay, and this is what they've been avoiding. Yeah, since 2013. Okay, when I very first went to Congresswoman's office, and me and my mom contacted them, they have been doing nothing but covering up, delaying time, covering up, and figuring out how they were going to get away with this crime when they finally realized they're just going to have to bum rush me, you know, and steal everything and frame me and throw me in jail to get rid of me. At the same time, they were trying to steal the evidence that I have. Okay, and I had to protect that evidence real hard. Okay, so I still have the evidence, and that's what I'm explaining to the judge now. You know, that well, I got the evidence of the crimes. But because the court's involved in the crime now, and law enforcement, and everyone else is involved in the crime besides the mortgage swindlers, you know, now they have to cover up for themselves. So it's not advantageous for the court to help me prove my case because it proves that they committed crimes. These crimes are prisonable. These people have to go to prison for the things they've done to me and to my parents. And that's why they've been covering up for all this time. These are felony crimes, civil rights violations, human rights violations. Elder abuse is a felony, you know, depending on how much money you stole from them. You know, embezzlement. And this is what's happened, you know, to our family. So they also filed this thing using my father's name. Well, my father, just a short explanation, my father died in 2006. The property passed to my mom in 2006. She didn't die until 2014 when the property came into my possession. And I own the house from 2014 to 2018 for 4 years after both my parents were buried. So if anything, my mother's name would be on there, but they're trying to keep that hidden because her will and testament and the trust puts the property in my control, not my father. That's dirty. But the point is that since the property belonged to me by record, then the money from any surplus funds, the sale of the property, has to go to me. It can't go to anyone else. So what is that all about? Another diversion and another fraud. Because they can't give the money to me. So they claim that they're going to go to the government and try to get it put into a government fund. That's called like the unclaimed funds. You know, the government puts in there, and the people who finally figure out, family members or whatever, then they can go and claim the money for themselves if their family member is deceased or somehow unable to claim it. You know, they have to file paperwork to get that money from the government that belongs to them or to their family. So if they stick this money in there under my father's name, first of all, they're stealing it from me again. My father's dead and been dead since 2006. Wow. So who can get the money? Maybe only some maybe only some family members, but then they got to prove that the money had to go to my dad. Well, they can't prove that. The property is by record is in my control. So this is a cover-up, is what they're doing. Okay, and a diversion to keep people from seeing who's actually involved, who the money actually belongs to, and trying to stuff it into the government. At the same time, it's another theft. Because no one will ever come and claim it. They legally can't claim it. Only I can. And my descendants. And guess what? I don't have any descendants. I'm the first and the last. Okay, I have no children. Okay, so basically they steal the money and put it back in the government coffers. It'll always be there, or of course eventually they'll probably keep it. So I'm asking the judge for help. You'll hear that here. We're going to find out shortly what's going to go on. Now they've timed all of this. They're framing me with criminal charges, a case that I haven't done, which is scheduled to go before this. Now they had all this time, almost a year, they could have filed this. Actually, since 2018, they could have filed this, because I told them way back in 2018, 2019, that they can't give me the money. I don't take dirty money. You know, I'm going to help you commit a crime on me. So, you know, I'm going to just, you'll see what what's going to happen now. But I don't want to keep delaying the video. It's very short. This one's not very long. This is not the complete filing that I filed with the court. I filed exhibits, I filed documents, I filed proof that this is my property. Okay, if anybody's going to take the money, it would have to be me. But I'm not going to take the money. And so I'm telling them, if they give you the money, it's going to be public corruption. Some of you don't know what public corruption is. It's when people do something illegal and they corrupt the public office or public officials by giving them something like dirty, stolen money. And they're covering up the fact. But since the government's involved, the government's willing to probably do it. We're going to find that out. We're going to find out what this judge and what the court is going to do. Because they're desperate to cover up for themselves too. These crimes that they're committing, this is a desperation move and another desperation move. And so we want people to know the facts of what's going on, so you can watch and see what they're going to do now with this money, you know, and whether they're going to finally expose this whole crime. I'm going to do some other videos where I'm going to actually show you what this is talking about. It's talking about how they switched the loan with loan documents and forgeries, and they put on the market a fraudulent mortgage loan. They've been owned and operated it all that time and circulated this fraudulent mortgage loan deed of trust security instrument on the market. Okay, and they passed it around amongst themselves. You know how they do. And so I'm gonna show you those documents, forgeries again. There's another video that shows that. I'll put a tag on here where you can go to see it. But there's another video that shows that, and I'm going to show you again. I'm going to show you even more in detail the documents that were switched, how they switched them, and then put forth this other mortgage that they operated all this time, so they could steal the property from my parents and from me. Because they transferred the crime onto me and stole it from me using my parents. But the house was mine. How are you going to do that? I already had equity in the house. I heard a mechanics lien against the house for work I'd done on the house, amounted to about $500,000. It had been in my possession for 4 years. You're going to jump back and try to use a fraudulent loan that you got on my parents and try to cover it up. That's all. Now they got to cover it up. See, no one thought that my family would keep those records and then we would have the documents. But I'm an accountant major. Okay, I'm an accountant, you know, trained in accounting. I went to San Diego College of Business back in 1973, and I was an accountant major, a business administration minor, an accelerated school. When I took my final exam for accounting, okay, and this was before that, this was in high school. I'll tell you something about accounting. They gave me a final exam, and this was going to be our grade for the, you know, for the whole. Our final grade for the whole course. And so when he gave me this test, I went through the whole thing. I had to do the books for a company for 1 whole year. You had invoices, you had all the stuff, you had everything that's financially done with a business for 1 whole year, and you had to do that, and then you had to do their taxes. Okay, so I go through the whole thing, I do it, and it doesn't balance out. Well, the accountant's job is to balance the books down to the penny. And so it didn't balance. But okay, I'm good. My teacher had already told me, he said, you're good. You know, he said, you should get a job as a public accountant, you know, who investigates and do all this kind of stuff. So I go over it again. Now I've gone over the whole thing a second time, and it didn't balance out again. I said, well, maybe I missed something. Yeah, okay. But it came out with the same answer. I said, wait a minute. I know I didn't miss anything the first time, and I doubly know I didn't miss anything the second time. Let me go back and look at it again with another fine-tooth comb. What ended up happening was I found that there was an error in the instruction booklet that tells you what to do. There were 2 different accounting errors in that booklet. And so once I found that, corrected the book now, corrected the book, then it balanced out. So I took it to my teacher and I said, man, nobody's going to ever get this. That's why everybody in the classes, everybody sitting around here, they're probably doing the same thing I did. At that time I didn't know that they all had different tests, because they give you different tests from different lots, so people can't cheat off of each other's test. And he probably had given me one of the harder ones because, again, I was one of his top students. So I go to him and I tell him, no one can do this unless they figure this out. And I said, and most people probably aren't going to do like I did. They're not going to start questioning the instructions that they're being told. And I said, but I found it, and I showed him there's error here in the book, here and here, and that's why it didn't balance out. And he starts going, shh, 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 shh. He told me to be quiet. He's looking around the room to see if anybody's listening and paying attention, because everybody's working on their test, and I'm up at the front. I finished. And so he tells me, go back to my desk, he'll get back to me in a few. So he goes in his desk, and he looks around, he pulls out a booklet. And with this booklet, he looks through it, and he finds out the test number that I have, and what the score should be, and all the particulars. Okay, and then he writes a grade on there, puts his book back, and he gets up and comes to my desk, and he put my paperwork on my desk. I got an A triple plus on there. Okay, and again he tells me, yeah, you need to be a certified accountant. You're doing this already in high school. He says, in college, this is the same thing they give you for finals for a college exam. You got to do the job, just like you're working it, and you're already working it. Beyond what he says, a lot of these guys aren't gonna, he says, you got people that are good at this, and you got people who do it. You got people who enjoy it. You seem to enjoy it, which I do. I'm a puzzle worker. I love to figure out puzzles. And that's all that this crime was. This crime is an elaborate scam, okay, and I'm going to show you how they did it. The government already knows I know, and they're trying to keep me from exposing them. Okay, that's what's going on here. And so they framed me. They framed me in order to dispose of me and dispose of the evidence, and they've tried to steal the evidence, and even tried to murder me. Yes, said that's what I said. And some other people have died mysteriously because they've stolen over $1 million from us. They've stolen millions. When you look at, we had antique furniture and stuff that was handed down through the family, some of which were, I don't know, 30, 40, 50,000, 60, 70, $80,000, just a certain piece of antique furniture. We had one lamp in the house, $10,000 antique lamp, chandelier, import. They've stolen all these things and stolen the property. Okay, it's not so much a matter of that, but it's just a matter of that, they're ripping off black people. And it's covert slavery is really what it is. You work all your life for something, and then the white people come along, pull a dirty trick, and steal everything from you. So you end up working your life for nothing. They steal it from you, steal it from your family, you're back to square zero. Okay, that's the new type of slavery. They're not blatant out in front and just making us work for nothing all our life, just point blank. Now they got you working and then taking it on the end. They don't just keep you taking everything from you along the way. And you're no longer their property. But you're still in this damn government, okay, who's doing this kind of stuff, so you're still their property. You want to call yourself a citizen. Citizen of what? This place, we came here under slavery. It was legal by law. Okay. These slave people, they weren't keeping us against the law. If you tried to get away, they'd send out police to come and get you and take you back. Kill you, made dead or alive. Maim you, cut your arms and limbs off, beat you, you know. So to this day, we got it easier because they changed their tactics, although they're still doing it. And it's covert, just like jail system. You go to prison, they can put you in slavery, legal slavery. Slavery is still legal in here, in this country, the United States, if you go to prison. And they're doing stuff like framing us. Oh, how many other brothers and people have they framed like they framed me? To steal everything they got, and they frame their family. And they use the crimes that these people commit on us to then try to say that we committed the crime. They try to say I threatened them because I said I'm going to protect my property. I have the right to protect my property. They call that a threat. So they were trying to keep me from proving and showing that they were at my home illegally. And that the law, okay, under the California Penal Code and other laws, give me the right to protect my property, even with deadly force. That's right. California Penal Code, I believe it is 601, 602, 603, 604, somewhere. Look it up. California Penal Code. Okay, and it tells you right there. And of course, a lot of different states, they have their own laws. But it's written in the Constitution, okay, that you have the right to protect yourself and your property. It's just like this. Look at it this way. People want to look at it as, okay, they stole your home, this, and that. Let's just cash it out. Say everything I had there came to $1.5 million, okay, or $2 million. What if you figured you're going to sell your antiques and all this stuff, okay? Somebody just came to your house with a badge on to rob you of $1 million, or you walking down the street, you got $1 million in your briefcase, and somebody runs up to rob you. You gonna just hand it over? Let them get away with it? No, you're gonna fight for it, or you know, depending on if you think you can, or if you got the guts. You know, I'm not giving it to you. You can have 5 guys with guns on me. Only way you're gonna get this from me is you're gonna have to take it. Okay. It's as simple as that. I'm not hand over nothing. Any of you who ever were kids and you had bullies come up and want to bully you for your lunch money, did you hand it over? A lot of you did. I know, because I was a kid. I watched them. Okay? Guess how many people got my lunch money? They got their ass whooped. Let me play this video for you. I'm going to let you go on. It's very short. It's not very long. Look what I just filed in the court to the judge, and keep watching. I'm going to do some more videos, see what's going on.
James K. Tillory, in propria persona. 307 South 31st Street, San Diego, California, 92113. Telephone, 619-840-3347. Superior Court of California. County of San Diego Central Division Hall of Justice. Clear Recon Corp. et al. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank National Association, Plaintiff Petitioner. Versus Arlister L. Tillory, deceased in 2006, et al. James K. Tillory, Defendant Respondent. State of California, County of San Diego Superior Court Case Number 37, 2021 to 13834, CUPT, CTL. Defendant Respondent's Brief. Report of Organized Crimes and Public Corruption. Petition and motion for investigation to stop crimes and public corruption. Petition and motion of court disqualification. Defendant Respondent's Declaration. Defendant Respondent's Exhibits. Number of pages. Judge, John S. Meyer, Department Room, C-64. In the presence of the Superior Court, Judge Meyer. Defendant Respondent's Brief. Report of Organized Crimes and Corruption, Declaration. These are declared qualified statements of Mr. James K. Tillory on behalf of myself, and the Tillory family, supported by verifiable prima facie mortgage loan document evidence, court cases, and other case document evidences, and witnesses. Judge Meyer, help me please. My life is in serious danger. I am being professionally framed by professional, sophisticated, white-collar organized crimes. What I am telling you is true. Will you please help me? Will you please direct honest law enforcement officers to assist and help expose and stop this organized crime? Judge Meyer, please do not aid these criminals. Do not believe them. They have been, and are even now by this court action, employing, influencing, and corrupting government, court, and law officers. Judge Meyer, please help me. I know you have the authority and ability to do whatever is necessary to protect me, please, and protect us people who are being victimized by this crime and other crimes like this one we are ensnared by. Judge Meyer, I have been robbed by these criminals and their business associates of my inherited personal home, my household furnishings and personal belongings. They are using this court action to further their frauds, elder abuse, and grand theft crimes. Judge, do not let them get away any longer. The evidence in my possession that has been concealed and obstructed is prima facie proof. Judge Meyer, you must insist on seeing all of my evidence in a protected place. I promise, I will lay out their entire crime scene. Then, Judge, you will understand why I am not openly exposing all of my evidence in this public arena. Please help me. If they succeed in framing me, you may not be able to help everyone. Please attempt to use your authority and to stop everything, until you see all of my evidence. Judge, you will not be disappointed. You will be happy that you enforce whatever measures you must to help us all by finding out and stopping this crime. Others are depending on you right now, along with you yourself. People and officers working in government law enforcement jobs are involved in concealing and aiding organized crime. They swore to protect us citizens, but they have knowingly or unknowingly been corrupted and/or are misusing the government authority they have been given, by being corruptly involved in concealing, aiding, and committing covert, disguised organized crimes and cover-ups. Please help us, Judge Meyer. You can fully trust and believe me. This may be your only opportunity and my last opportunity to expose and stop this masterminded crime that has been going on for so long. Judge Meyer, will you please help? You can put a stop to this. Let me continue by informing the State of California Superior Court of San Diego County that Aldridge Pite LLP and Clear Recon Corp trustee and for J.P. Morgan Chase Bank National Association obtained the surplus funds from the appearing legal default foreclosure auction professionally hidden disguised illegal sale of my real estate home residence property, 3605 Florence Street, South San Diego, California, 92113, that they stole from the Tillory family. They are actively involved in framing us Tillorys for crimes we did not do. And in their failed attempts to deceive me into receiving the surplus funds at issue from them, they have been attempting to bribe and corrupt me, with the ill-gotten dirty money they got from their appearing unlawful legal foreclosure auction sale of my, Tillorys, real estate home residence property. I have the prima facie letters and loan document evidence proof which I am ready and willing to show to this court, in the presence of honest law enforcement officers, that the lenders J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, successor lender merger with to Advanta National Bank, Advanta Mortgage Corp., Advanta Finance Company mortgage loan originators, baited, solicited, my elderly parents, now deceased, and defrauded us by 1. Forgery falsification of the loan and 2. they switched the original loan by replacing it with rewritten false and forged information and a string of appearing legal loans that disguise and conceal, hide and bury their mortgage fraud crimes. I have the prima facie evidence in my possession. But various disguised attempts have already been made to steal the evidence from me and dispose of me. Help me, Judge Meyer, please. After which the loan holders activated, owned, operated, circulated, and sold their constructed loan document forgery crime, involving felony elder abuse and real estate home residence property grand theft, and stole my home, Tillorys home property, at 3605 Florence Street, the at issue in the surplus funds fraud stage of their crime and public corruption. The surplus funds is part of the mortgage loan deed of trust, security instrument fraud crimes being used and exhibited by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank National Association, also known as Clear Recon Corp, also known as Aldridge Pite LLP, and other mortgage racketeering chain members. The surplus funds is part of the fraudulent alteration of the original mortgage loan. They switched the original loan for their fake loan, activated it and put it in circulation on the market. Aldridge Pite LLP, and for Clear Recon Corp, trustee, and for J.P. Morgan Chase Bank National Association are chain member accomplices in the commission of sophisticated white-collar organized crime, mortgage fraud, racketeering, felony financial exploitation, senior fraud, elder abuse and real estate home residence property grand theft by false pretenses, trick, loan documents forgery, loan documents falsification, embezzlement, and grand larceny, criminal profiteering, racketeering, influenced corrupt organization, R.I.C.O. The mortgage fraud organized crimes began when R.I.C.O. chain member mortgage lenders defrauded and trapped the elderly Tillory family, now deceased Arlister L. and Mary E. Tillory, and me, James K. Tillory, into their mortgage fraud scam using government-issued Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac borrowers' financial income loan qualification information loan documents. See the mortgage loan document forgeries in my defendant respondents, possession and protection that proves the mortgage lender's felony elder abuse, mortgage fraud, real estate home residence property grand theft by embezzlement, breach of trust, violation, and related organized crimes. Judge, please help protect my evidence until all of the Tillorys protected and preserved evidence, proof, of said organized crimes is examined by honest and professional law enforcement officers and court officials, to expose and stop their criminally influenced government officials' harmful actions against us Tillorys. The court will find that, in order to illegally burden the Tillorys with their fraudulent mortgage loan deed of trust, security instruments terms, illegal, unavoidable default, foreclosure, debt trap, the mortgage loan originators illegally altered the Tillorys, the borrowers, financial income loan qualification information, and illegally falsified the Tillorys, the borrowers, financial income loan qualification information which the mortgage lenders had received from the Tillorys, the borrowers. By signing and entering their victims, the elderly Tillorys, into the stage of their mortgage fraud crimes, the R.I.C.O. chain members, mortgage loan originators, the lenders, created loan document forgeries and created the false appearance that the elderly Tillorys, the borrowers, were financially qualified to be entered into mortgage loan terms, although the Tillorys were not financially qualified to be entered, obligated and bound by the mortgage loan terms, false pretense. The lenders' mortgage fraud crimes were transferred onto me, James K. Tillory, because I am the inheritor and legitimate owner of my parents' original borrowers' real estate residence home property since 2014. Before R.I.C.O. chain members accomplished their grand theft scam and sold the Tillorys real estate residence home property in 2017 to 2018 to R.I.C.O. chain member Breckenridge Property Fund 2016 LLC, who filed their fraudulent unlawful detainer lawsuit court case, Breckenridge Property Fund 2016 LLC vs. Arlister Tillory, Mary Tillory, James Tillory, Court Case Number 37-2018-00026067CLUDCTL, against me with this court, and used altered falsified mortgage loan documents, concealing evidence of lender's felony elder abuse senior fraud, they received from Aldridge Pite LLP, and for Clear Recon Corp trustee, and for J.P. Morgan Chase Bank National Association, and for other mortgage fraud chain member predecessors, and employed the Superior Court Judge Creep who entered summary judgment rulings orders supported by altered falsified unverified loan documents fraud, right to possession of the Tillorys real estate home residence property, granted to Breckenridge Property Fund 2016 LLC, who received the stolen property belonging to me, Tillory. Upon after which court fraud and voidable illegitimacy the Superior Court's judges deployed the San Diego County Sheriff's and Police Joint SWAT team to my home to seize search my home, evict, charge, detain, arrest and jail me, under false appearing legal, purported color of law by-in through R.I.C.O chain members hidden mortgage fraud racketeering and related disguised organized crimes. We continuously reported about, and continue to report complain about, these and other related mortgage fraud crimes to many government law officers and to the Superior Court's judges, who have intentionally refused and failed to protect us Tillorys from these and other organized crimes directly caused by the R.I.C.O chain members. By and through this court case proceeding, Clear Recon Corp et al. Versus Arlister L. Tillory et al., case number 37-2021-00013834 the plaintiff petitioner has invited the court judge to participate in the facilitation of said crimes and furtherance of public corruption of this court judge, San Diego, California Superior Court / Judge Meyer when the plaintiff petitioner succeeds at employing the court judge into depositing the surplus funds with any government agency. Arlister L. Tillory is deceased in 2006, prior to Mary E. Tillory, deceased in 2014. After which time, I, James K. Tillory, own our home residence. From 2014 up until it was stolen in 2018 and the household contents were stolen in 2019. Crime element. The plaintiff petitioner craftily filed the case name and deceased party, name Arlister L. Tillory et al. As the defendant respondent. And the plaintiff petitioner did so however to deceive the Superior Court and court hearings proceedings and falsify the court records. The plaintiff petitioner knows that the only person who at the time of their illegitimate foreclosure sale, and who is owner of the property 3605 Florence Street South San Diego, California 92113 at issue, and who is rightfully entitled to the surplus funds at issue is me James K. Tillory. And as a tactic to interfere with and prevent me from properly addressing and attending these court hearings proceedings without undue hindrance and to obstruct justice and get away with their coordinated organized crimes, the plaintiff petitioner, who is using names of deceased family members and framing us has set up time this civil lawsuit case court hearing to be run held concurrently with / to the plaintiff petitioner's currently ongoing fraudulent criminal case against me, that the plaintiff petitioner and others have set up stage to frame me with, which is being conducted by the San Diego County District Attorney's Office in the Criminal Division branch of this court. This same professionally accomplished tactic was used by R.I.C.O chain members for other corruptly influenced civil court case hearings charges held against me that the plaintiff petitioner and / others set up stage to frame me with. So therefore, I am petitioning this same court for this same court's help, so that these professional criminals' hidden disguised crimes, corruption of public offices officials they are manipulatively influencing as an aid for them to abuse elderly senior citizens by covertly stealing from, robbing and framing us can be stopped, and to bring them to their downfall as justice should prevail over the perpetrators of these monumental horrors of injustice. I, James Tillory, do not have time to finish this court document submission before the court's filing deadline. So I am filing it now before the time to file expires. Therefore it will be necessary for me to amend this document if possible. Defendant Respondent's Declaration. I, James K. Tillory, declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Date, April 16, 2021. Declarant name, James K. Tillory, Defendant Respondent. Declarant signature.
Okay, so there you have it, kind of in a nutshell. And so that's in the court. Now, like I say, there's more documents to that, exhibits that's going to show proof. If you really want to get into this even deeper, they're public records now. That's a public record. It's filed with the court in San Diego. If you want to find more about the proof that I've showed them so far, okay, all you got to do is go online and look at the public records. They may be trying to hide it. Okay, they've been doing a lot of that, but it's there. Okay, and of course, at some point you're going to see the actual document forgeries and how they did the switch. The whole rundown. I'm going to run the whole thing down, so that people know that these are the crimes that these people are committing on us. And they've taken over our whole neighborhood, the whole communities, stealing property from people, setting them up with crimes that people don't recognize, they don't see them. My parents trusted these people. They were elderly. When they first got them in this, they were like 75 years old. Then they carried it on from then until they died. My parents have gone down under this already. And my dad was too old to try to go to court or anything about it. You know, they both had pacemakers. You know, my mom had mild dementia. So she was also a dependent elder. And I took care of her the rest of her life. They covered all that up. They kept writing to my mother when I was the caretaker. And she legally wasn't able to respond to them as a dependent elder. Yeah, all this has been hidden and covered up. I have power of attorney. They've hidden that and covered it up. I had my mother's power of attorney signed, completed and signed by her lawyer. So every time I try to talk to these people about anything, they claim they don't have to talk to me about anything. Oh, really? Well, how are you going to represent yourself talking to somebody that you legally can't talk to? Now, we didn't have her declared mentally incompetent in any degree. But if you look at the documents that are filed with the court now, it says on her death certificate that she had dementia. She wasn't crazy out of her head and a lot of stuff like these movies and stuff you see people going through. Okay? But a lot of her business, in fact, all of the business matters and everything I was handling for her and my dad before they both died. Because they needed my protection, my dad called me to help them. And so I had to carry that through, for my mom and dad until they passed away. And I had promised my dad that I would take care of it. He couldn't go through it. And of course, look what they're putting me through. This is incredible when you find out what they put me through. And during the last years of my mom's life, she always was coming to my room day and night. Am I going to be put out of my home? I keep hearing people telling me to get out of the home, get out of my house. So she was terrorized and under the threat, the mortgage fraud, the threat of a crime that these people committed and hid all that time. I didn't even know it until I inherited the property and went to go over the books. And if you ever inherit a property or inherit anything, go over the books. It belongs to you. And there are people who may have committed crimes on your family to rob you of your inheritance and to rob them. Don't go into debt. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Banks, look, take your sorry ass to school and learn. You know, stay at home. Parents, let your children stay at home when they get out of school, and let them work. It's only going to be 3, 4, 5 years more. Let them work and earn their money and save it up and buy their house. And if they got to get any kind of loan, it'll be small, real small. Because these people are using that, okay, to come back and steal everything from you. They solicited my parents to do this whole crime, bait and switch. And my parents didn't catch it. They don't have the education that I have. Okay, my mother and dad were born in 1919. They graduated from school. There wasn't even no such thing as algebra. I mean, you know, general math and stuff like that. And, you know, but of course, the law about elders, and I'm 66 years old now, so they're abusing me as an elder. 65 and older makes you an elder. My parents were well into their 70s and their 80s and beyond when they did all of these things to them. And the law states that an elder is supposed to get special protection from the government. They ain't getting any special protection. I've gone to the government and asked them. I'm not getting any special protection because they're trying to help them cover up the crime. They don't want anybody to know the extent of the depth and the actual how they did this crime. I'm going to show it to you. They refused to let me show it to them, but they said, oh, we're going to do an investigation. We're going to do an investigation. All lies. If they see that in front of their face, their hands are going to be tied, so they refuse to do it. They even set up a trial for me where they're framing me and refuse to allow me to testify to prove that these people are illegal, all of them. The court on down. And that they knew about it. All of them had been notified. So, okay, I'm going to get back to you again. Keep watch. Let's see what they're going to do now. They're about to take surplus funds and put it in the name of a dead man who isn't even entitled to get the money.